Hello. So, welcome to another episode of Alberta Survival Guide by Stxrfallz. So, basically, how did I graduate school in grade 11? How did I finish high school early? I still have a year left, but I got my diploma. And so, somehow, I graduated high school in grade 11, and no, I did not magically skip an entire year of school. I basically looked at my course requirements, um, planned everything out, took advantage of the opportunities my school offered, and I finished the credits I needed earlier than expected. So I wanted to make this video explaining how I did it, why I did it, and how you can also maximize your course load without completely destroying yourself in the process, unlike a certain somebody. And yes, for some background information, in Alberta, throughout high school, it's a pretty demanding program. And I'm bilingual, so I did the full French IB diploma program in grade 10. I'm grade 10 and 11. Technically in grade 10, it's just the honors courses, and then grade 11 is where the actual diploma course starts. But most people drop out in honors class, and honors is literally just Alberta curriculum with the added honors just to put all the smart kids together. So they're dropping out when the IB program hadn't even started. And anyway, I took some additional courses and additional programs outside of my regular classes, and one of those was a culinary dual arts program in the summer of my grade 10 year, which was honestly one of the coolest opportunities I got during high school. And so I'm saying you should maximize that, right? So my schedule wasn't exactly typical take the minimum classes and graduate in grade 12 route. I actually took a very demanding course load. Like I had a full schedule, and I could actually put that on screen right here. So yeah, how did I graduate early? Right? So the biggest thing I learned is that you need to stop thinking about high school as grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, graduate. In Canada, by the way, we only have 3 years of high school as opposed to the freshman, sophomore, I can't even speak, junior, senior, whatever Americans have. I don't really understand why they do it like that. So I thought about it as what credits do I need and how can I complete them efficiently? So one of your biggest tools will be the MyPass for Alberta, if you are an Alberta student. Basically, what it shows you is it shows you your DAR, which is your detailed academic record. From there, you can also find your PAT standards. So that is your provincial assessment test. You do one in grade 6, you do one in grade 9. They're pretty much standardized government tests that only Alberta students take in Canada. I don't really know why, or maybe other provinces do the same thing, but actually Alberta is very challenging. Yeah. Right, so what credits do I need? How can I complete them efficiently? And basically, graduation is based on completing the required courses and the credits for an Alberta high school diploma. As for the type of high school diploma, there are options such as the bilingual one, the francophone one. You have the standard one, you have the Catholic one, I'm not quite sure. But there are certain specialties you can add to it, I guess, as for example, French. Like you can take French immersion. A lot of Canadians end up taking French immersion as required, and so a lot of people hate French, but I'm actually French, French, not Quebecois, whatever. So yeah, anyway, instead of waiting until grade 12 to take everything, I planned ahead and I tried to get as many requirements completed as I reasonably could earlier. Reasonably, as in I kind of overloaded my schedule and did not have a life in high school, but I made a lot of friends. So anyway, for me, that meant taking advantage of my available course slots, right, your timetable, completing required courses as early as possible, and making sure I wasn't accidentally leaving graduation requirement until the very end. One example of this is calm and religion. Because I grew up in the Catholic school system, I have to take religions of the world, religious studies, Roman Catholic, 35, all that, 25, 15. Yeah, so instead of waiting until grade 12 to take everything, I planned ahead and tried to get as many requirements completed as I reasonably could earlier. For me, that meant taking advantage of my available course slots, so my timetable, completing required courses as early as possible, and making sure I wasn't accidentally leaving a graduation requirement until the very end. So a common example of this is CALM. A lot of students leave CALM until the end. Career and Life Management. It is such an easy course. I took it online in the NAP table of my quarter 4 of my grade 10 year. I took CALM in grade 10. you can finish in grade 10. You don't have to wait till grade 12. You don't have to take a whole quarter out of your actual timetable. You can do it online. And people don't realize that. So how do you want to maximize your course load? Okay, because course planning becomes incredibly important. So if you're trying to graduate early, the first thing I'd recommend is literally making a spreadsheet. Like, I had this in my mind, but it's also great to visualize it. Like, I would definitely take notes and write out like how I want to schedule my entire high school journey. So write down, first of all, every course that you've already completed and every credit you've earned. You can just access this online in your DAR, and you can see every requirement, every graduation requirement, but I feel like it's better if you visualize it, and I actually like to do it on paper. I prefer to plan everything, like write down all my homework like on paper, be like, okay, I have to read this, this is assigned to me, this is due at this date, I have a test on this at this date, I should study this time at this. I like to plan. I'm a planner. And so which courses you're currently taking, which courses you still need, and which courses can potentially count toward multiple goals. For example, you might want to take biology just for the fun of it. Take psychology for the fun of it, because you can do that. You can take anything from like mechatronics to quantum computing to physics and sports med, right? And then plan backwards, okay? Don't just ask, what should I take next year? Ask, what do I need finished by the time I want to graduate? So assume that you're already graduated and you're looking back at yourself and you're like, oh, I wish I took this course. You have the chance to. You're still in the present, right? And that completely changes how you approach your schedule. And people don't think about that, right? And I also tried to take advantages of opportunities like dual credit. And so I planned it. I was like, if I take physics 20 in my grade 10 summer as a summer school, that way I can take physics 30 and I can get all the sciences done. But I wanted to take a dual credit, so I applied for that too. So I was registered in physics 20, but at the same time, I managed to gain myself a spot, one of 8 spots in my district, for the summer culinary course at the Southern Alberta Institution of Technology. And yeah, that was amazing because they gave me like the $20,000 course for free, along with like $1,600 worth of knife set, a cookbook, a chef's hat, a diploma, and a lot of valuable internship experience working inside of a professional kitchen, right? And so you can also take advantages of those opportunities like dual credit, because those programs can allow you to earn high school credits while exploring something outside the normal high school curriculum. And you also gain credits for university if ever you want to pursue that path. If ever I wanted to become a chef, I already have the course required completed, so I can skip ahead a year in university even, because I did this in high school, just for the fun of it, right? And so in grade 10, I did do the culinary dual arts credit, which gave me experience in an actual post-secondary style environment while also contributing towards my education. So my lesson 2 is don't overlook programs that your school offers outside the standard timetable. You may be like, oh, but that's only for grade 12s. Oh, but nobody else wants to do that and I'm the only one applying. So what? Go for it. If you want to take an IT internship, if you want to go that route, computer science route, why not try it out now? Aviation? Why not? What's the worst thing that happens? You become a pilot? I think that's amazing, right? So like, okay. Sometimes those opportunities are incredibly valuable, useful. And now the IB part. Okay, I hate the IB. Okay, but yeah, so there's the slightly insane part. I was also doing full French IB. For any IB students, yeah. And same time, I live 2 hours away from school by transit. 2 to 3 hours, actually. And the fastest I've ever made school was 1 hour and 30 minutes through transit. It's like 2 buses and a train and like a 40-minute walk and like half an hour waits between buses and like anyway. And the winter is like -40 degrees. Anyway, so I wasn't exactly taking the easiest possible route. And I wasn't sheltered either, mind you. I had to make my own foods and snacks, and most of the time at lunch I didn't even have time to eat lunch because I had other commitments at lunchtime, like teaching a coding club at my school or attending an anime club and preparing for like Oda Fest or any of those fun events and like fundraising at like sports events and pretending. What we used to say, this is for the school football team. Because if we told them that it was for the anime club, I don't think they'd donate anything at all. I don't even think they'd look at us the same way. So, yeah. Anyway, being bilingual and doing French IB meant that I had a pretty significant workload. And the reason why I couldn't actually fit physics into my schedule is because I had to take Francais 10, 20, and then 30, right? But it also meant that I was completing a lot of courses and requirements that I wanted anyway. So the important thing is that you need to understand your own program requirements. If you're in IB, French immersion, a dual credit program, AP, CTF, whatever, or another specialized program, CTS credits, all that, don't assume the normal grade 10 to 12 schedule applies perfectly to you, right? You have to think about yourself and sit down with your school counselor. Okay, the counselors are there for a purpose. Use your counselors. Counselors are amazing. Get to know your work counselor, advisor, all that, because they can teach you a lot about applications, about scholarships, about where you want to go, about what you want to do, how you want to get references. If you want to apply internationally, even what do you need? How can you do it? Right? They can tell you everything. That's literally their job. So book an appointment with them or just walk in whenever you're free and give it a go. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You walk in there and they tell you, oh, that's not possible. Okay, that's not possible for you. Right? Because sometimes you can organize things much more efficiently than you initially think. And then there was grade 11. Okay, so by grade 11, I had already completed a huge portion of what I needed, and actually, during my summer school just now, I just finished my last August diploma for Social Studies 30-1 and ELA 30-1, which are mandatory courses to complete your diploma requirements. So once those were done, that was basically it. I had finished the requirements I need to graduate. I took Math 30-1, I took Bio 20, Chem 20, French 10, 20. All right, that was like the fourth interruption. I'm just gonna move you for a second. So, basically, once those were done, that was basically it, and I had finished everything. So technically, in grade 11, I still have another school year left. But, right, I'm going into that year in a completely different position. Instead of spending the entire year stressing about, oh my god, I need this class to graduate, or what am I gonna do if I have to take another year, or what is this? I can actually use the year to explore things. I can take option classes in grade 12. I know option classes are normally for the grade 10s and sometimes 11s when it's like 25, 35, or like, 10, 20. But I'm taking it as a grade 12, and like I can try things that I normally wouldn't have room for because of how preoccupied you are by graduating. So I can actually focus on my interests, I can build skills, and I have way more flexibility because the major graduation requirements are already handled. I have my diplomas. And the funniest part is that I basically ended grade 11 with an absolutely ridiculous amount of free space. I had a whole semester of spares in grade 11. Yes, I know. So I had a year. I was going to school at 2 p.m. for my Études Sociales 20 BI class. That was it. I just had leadership 20 because I was like, I need to fill my thing up. I even took childcare. Like, I even took like forensics. And I still had my entire morning free, and I still came into school at like 1 p.m. and then came home at like 4. Like, I went to choir and all that. I went some extracurriculars. That was it, right? So I had a whole semester of spares, and now I still have another school year available after technically already graduating. So instead of being like, I'm a grade 12 student, I have to survive, this is the hardest year of my life. No, it's more like I'm technically done. So what do I want to do with my free time? What do I want to do with the remaining time? Which is honestly such a different experience, right? But should everyone graduate early? Not necessarily, right? And this is probably the most important thing I want to say. Don't overload yourself just because graduating early sounds impressive. And if you're taking extra courses means that you're constantly exhausted, your grades are dropping, you're miserable, you don't have time for anything else, then it's probably not worth it. On the other hand, if you're like me and you're a psychopath who wants to challenge yourself, go ahead, take everything. Take AP, take IB, take honors, and sacrifice your entire life. And no social interaction, no nothing, grades on top, and still be on top of your grade, on top of the class, on top of the whole institution. Why not? Right? The goal is not how many classes can I physically cram into my schedule. Okay, the goal is how efficiently can I complete what I need while still having a life. Because not a lot of people talk about this, but your high school years can either be extremely depressing or it can be like the peak of your entire life, right? Especially for those athletes. So like, That's the difference. I had to balance regular school, IB, French, extracurricular options, and other programs. And so if you're going to maximize your course loads, you actually need to plan it. Because I didn't really plan what I was doing. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to take Math 31. I'm going to take this at the higher level, this at the higher level, this at the higher level. Why? I don't even need all of that. No, I didn't need history of the world and I don't know, okay? So, like, don't randomly add classes just because you think, like, everybody else is taking it. I might as well try it out too. No, you don't need it, right? Look at your requirements. Look at what you want. Look at the prerequisites, okay? If you want to get to Bio 20, Bio 30, then you can take Science 10 because Science 14, that's a different pathway, right? And so you gotta choose what you want to choose. If you want to drop down from Math 10C because you found Math 10 incredibly difficult to Math 10-3 or to Math 20-2, you should know that limits your opportunities later because then you can't really go back to the -1 stream. So I'd say challenge yourself and hit it hard, and if you fail, then drop down. But don't drop down because you're scared of failing, okay? That's different. That's like my classmates who all dropped out of IB just in the honors, like in the pre-stages. Like you dropped out in the tutorial. You didn't even get to the gameplay, you know? So, like, look at what your school allows too. Look at summer school, look at dual credit opportunities, and most importantly, talk to your counselor. And my biggest advice, right, is if you're currently in grade 10 or grade 11 and you're thinking, wait, could I actually finish early? Could someone like me actually do this? Check. Seriously. Like, make a list of all your credits and look at your diploma requirements, figure out what you already have, and then figure out exactly what you're missing. And you might discover that you're much closer than you thought. And if you have opportunities like summer school, dual credit, online courses, option courses, or programs outside your normal timetable, don't automatically ignore them. They can completely change how you structure high school. For me, doing this meant that I could still finish my major graduation requirements by grade 11 while still getting to experience things like French IB and dual credit, right? Culinary dual credit, certified and everything. And so now I get something that I definitely wasn't expecting, like an entire extra year of school where graduating isn't just hanging over my head, where I'm not worried about my grades at all because it's like nothing matters. I can just do whatever I want. I can be student council president and be in grade 12 and just be that cool girl that everybody looks up to and they're like, how is she so like laid back? That's because there's nothing to worry about, right? So yeah, I somehow graduated in grade 11 and I still have an entire year of high school left. So yeah, I have approximately 1 billion spares now. Hyperbole? Yes. Shakespeare? No. Anyway, which means that I can finally breathe. And if you're trying to graduate early too, then don't just work harder, but plan smarter. Look at the requirements, maximize the opportunities available to you, and build your schedule around the future you actually want, because sometimes graduating early is not about taking an insane number of classes and finishing grade 10 with 87 credits, like somebody did here. 87 credits and some post-secondary credits. And yeah, anyway, because sometimes, right, it's just about realizing that you could have finished sooner all along. Don't limit yourself because other people are limited. You know what? Be different. Be special. Be like Spider-Man. Yo, special, okay? Because special people, we are always going to be treated differently. But you know what? So what? Anyway, see you guys. Bye. Love you. See you in the next one. I'll actually go teach you guys how to pass Social Studies 30-1. Because I just took the diplomas and I just want to talk to you about the diplomas. So next video is just going to be about diplomas probably. Bye.